too much data. I do go live 4 days a week, so that might be the case. So I probably need to go like 3 days a week, probably instead of 4. Don't know. But I'm back. Glad you guys are here. Let's continue. Apologize on that.
Or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. We should note that destroying civilian power infrastructure is generally considered to constitute a war crime under international law, though the president could argue that the infrastructure has dual use and also is utilized by Iran's military.
Want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
The hell with the liberal media. MS now, they ought to shut it down. They should never change the name from MSDNC to MS. No, they should have just shut this mess down.
Doing a segment on it on the 9 o'clock, that what the president and this administration has been saying for at least the last week, that they actually did knock down a bridge that they said the military was using, but that civilians used. They said that they're going to take out all of the power plants. The president said Tuesday will be power plant day. That would be considered a war crime. These that the president is saying sound like, to me and a lot of experts, war crimes. And then you have the president.
War crimes. War crimes. Oh, I wonder what's next. War crimes. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. The liberal media. Yeah. You already know how this one's going to go. The enemy of the people.
Yeah, I'm back. I probably got to slow it down on going live 4 days a week or get a better data plan or something. I don't know. But I'm back. I'm here. I'm monetized. I do everything right with YouTube, so I'm here with you guys. Like I said, once again, I'm back. Lost connection, but let's continue.
Liberal media Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is, quote, worrying critics with, quote, dangerous activity. Well, what is Secretary Hegseth doing that is so dangerous? Here it is. Quote, invoking faith in wartime, Pete Hegseth.
Good one, man. My power grid, good one.
That is the headline of a Washington Post article. They go on to say longtime norms are being upended by the proselytizing Christian campaign of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, say multiple former high-ranking military officials and experts on religion and law. They also say that rather than boosting cohesion through more universal spiritual uplift, Hegseth is hosting monthly evangelical worship services that legal experts say are unprecedented. Well, as the Pentagon press secretary said, prayer services at the Pentagon are 100% voluntary. They are not mandated whatsoever.
Happy Easter, family. Happy Easter.
But the Washington Post remained unmoved. The paper also referenced these comments that were apparently triggering to them.
Give them wisdom in every decision, endurance for the trial ahead, unbreakable unity, and overwhelming violence of action against those who deserve no mercy. We ask these things with bold confidence in the mighty and powerful name of Jesus Christ.
As you'll recall, the secretary's earlier calls for prayer were triggering to Margaret Brennan, too, who posted this to X. The Secretary of Defense tells the American public to pray for our troops on bended knee and invoke Jesus' name. The Washington Post dedicated 2,000 words to that proposition. They said the Pentagon shift from previous historical norms is dangerous, according to tons of anonymous sources. They even quote an anonymous Army civilian who feared being punished at work or fired and said the situation is terrifying. And MS Now had a meltdown last night, calling the
MS Now
as highly unusual
MS.
and cult-like.
BS now, really, it's
cult-like
BS.
Christian nationalist rhetoric can be found all throughout this administration.
Cult-like.
Its imagery and its iconography all over its social media. But no one is pushing it quite like Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who has been hosting these highly unusual Christian prayer services at the Pentagon.
Oh, Half and Jan and sweet brother Afro and Miss Carla Smith. Carla Smith Jenkins. Here we go. MS Now.
Good morning.
They probably already clicked off the video. Y'all already clicked off? I know.
On this Easter Sunday with major breaking news. The White House says the U.S. military has rescued the missing crew member.
I lost
of the
connection
American
earlier, but I'm
fighter
back.
that crashed in Iran on Friday. President Trump announced the news in a lengthy post on Truth Social,
Probably
saying
using
the
too much
airman is
data.
now safe and sound. He said the rescue mission included dozens of aircraft and that the officer sustained injuries, but he will be just fine. The news caps off a tense life or death race to find the airman. The other crew member was rescued shortly after the aircraft went down in Iran early Friday. According to the New York Times, the missing airman had been hiding with little more than a pistol as defense, and after ejecting from the F-15, hid in a mountain crevice.
No man left behind. And ladies and gentlemen, God bless our troops. Praying for our troops.
Appreciate you, Mel. Appreciate it.
Our president, this administration.
Yeah, lost connection. I guess I'm using too much data.
Melting.
The last few months, I've been going live 4 days and be live streaming at least like 3 to 5 hours. So I probably got to slow it down on my live stream so many days and probably so many hours. That might be the case where I get kicked out or lost connection.
Down, rooting for the worst. The big bad Orange King. People are just
too much truth. Oh, well, thank you, Matt. Appreciate that.
Passes out, passes away.
Thank you, Matt.
So they can celebrate. And they even said he passed away and was hospitalized as this was taking place, as the successful rescue mission, search and rescue mission was taking place. The left.
Adding to that, the mission to save the crew member employed hundreds of special forces, dozens of U.S. warplanes, helicopters, and cyber, space, and other intelligence capabilities. And U.S. attack aircraft dropped bombs and opened fire on Iranian convoys to keep them away from the area where the airman was hiding. U.S. attack aircraft dropped bombs and opened fire on Iranian convoys to keep them away from the area where the airman was hiding. A senior administration official tells MS Now's David Rohde that the CIA also aided in the search effort, launching a deception campaign to help protect the airman before he was rescued. And joining us now is MS Now senior national security reporter David Rohde, MS Now contributor Inzamam Rashid in Dubai, senior vice president at the Sufyan Group, Marine Corps veteran and MS Now security and intelligence analyst Christopher O'Leary, and former CIA senior intelligence service operations officer and MS Now packed show this morning. Christopher, let's start with you since you're at the table. Thank you for being here. What's your reaction to this pretty remarkable feat that the U.S. military pulled off this weekend?
The U.S. military trains for this. Number one, the pilots were trained. They went through what's called SEER school, survive, evade, resist, escape, especially for this. And that school was created towards the end of Vietnam because of one special forces officer, Nicholas Rowe, had escaped hundreds of miles of North Vietnamese jungle, brought back this experience, and they created the school. And then all pilots, all special operations personnel, intelligent personnel, all go through it. I've been through it, and I've been through it alongside pilots. And you learn how to survive when you land. You learn how to live off the land. You learn to evade capture, which is exactly what this colonel did. And then, should you be captured, resist interrogation, and then ultimately escape because it's your duty to do so. This just confirms why that is so important. You also learn to use the equipment that you were given. Now, the pilot was injured, as reported. You've had a violent encounter. You've been shot out of the air. Now you're crash landing into the ground. If in best case scenario, you're doing what's called a parachute landing fall, which is really a controlled crash into the ground. And people often get hurt doing that, especially pilots who don't parachute often. But what they're trained to do, they're trained to conceal themselves, put their personal locator beacon on. The other pilot would have been debriefed as soon as they got back to wherever they were brought back to. Intelligence was gathered, locating the individual on the ground, and then
providing overwatch with intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, drones, and manned aircraft, and then isolating the area to make sure that nobody can get to them. And then coming up on communication windows and giving cardinal directions on where to go to, number one, stay away from any foot traffic or local security forces, even local, residents of the area, trying to avoid all of that so you don't want any accidental bump-ins with anybody, and then moving towards an area where we know we can safely recover the individual. And then marshaling the forces, the pararescue forces, and other special operations capabilities that can go in there and execute this recovery the way that you need it to happen and provide the medical care. And just so you know, pararescue airmen go through a 2-year pipeline. It's one of the lesser known special operations components, but they are trained. Anybody who likes the show The Pit with Noah Wiley, everything they're doing on there, the PJs can do, and they can do it at night on night vision goggles. So they can put a central line and intraosseous into somebody, at night on night vision goggles. They're exceptionally trained human beings, and they can fight their way in and out. Their motto is "so others may live." So they're exceptional.
Quite a dramatic 24 hours, David Road. The 24 plus hours. The CIA ran a deception campaign within Iran. You have new reporting on kind of the behind the scenes on how this was able to happen. What do you know?
So a senior administration official told me that this plane goes down, and they don't even know, as far as I was told, they're not sure of the location of the second pilot. But the CIA launched a deception campaign to make the Iranians think that the U.S. had found that second pilot and were already moving him out of the country. In fact, that hadn't happened yet. Other details is that there was that the intelligence official.
Miracle what these guys did. You got to respect the hell out of the military that we have. Okay, you got to respect the hell out of what they do. We're watching the news. You see the 2 pilots,
This is 23 minutes ago. 23 minutes ago.
There's no way we're going to get them. It's over. It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to go back to what happened back in the days when under Khomeini, when he took over after the Shah, 66 Americans were held, at the embassy, and then 52 of them were held hostage, and we had to do an Operation Eagle Claw. And it was a hot mess. The C-130 crashed into a helicopter. 8 people died. It was nasty. So it's like, wait a minute. By the way, that's the last time we did an operation like this before. Last time. And obviously the military, you got to get a lot of credit because Delta Force was involved back then. Nobody knew about Delta Force in the early 80s. It was Navy. It was everybody involved. Rangers were involved. Air Force was involved for the pilot of the C-130. It's like, are we going to do this again? Not for 53, not for 66. But just for 2, and this time the CIA is going to be involved? Yes. You're kidding me. Not at all. And so while we're all watching the news, Rob, if you want to play one of the clips, I don't know which one you have. We were told, this is it. It's done. Nothing can happen. And all of a sudden, these are some of the news reports that we get. And Vinny, I'm going to come to you first. Go ahead, Rob.
So we've just gotten a Truth Social from President Trump on all this. It's a long one, so bear with me here. The president wrote, "We got him, my fellow Americans. Over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel, and who I am thrilled to let you know is now safe and sound. This brave warrior was behind enemy lines in the treacherous mountains of Iran, being hunted down by our enemies,
Okay, I got you.
who were getting closer and closer by the hour, but was never truly alone because his commander-in-chief, Secretary of War, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and fellow warfighters were monitoring his location 24 hours a day and diligently planning his rescue. At my direction, the U.S. military sent dozens of aircraft armed with the most lethal weapons in the world to retrieve him. He sustained injuries, but he will be just fine. The miraculous search and rescue operation comes in addition to a successful rescue of another brave pilot yesterday, which we did not confirm, because we did not want to jeopardize our second rescue operation. This is the first time in military memory that 2 U.S. pilots have been rescued separately deep in enemy territory. We will never leave an American warfighter behind. The fact that we were able to pull off both these operations without a single American killed or even wounded just proves once again that we have achieved overwhelming air dominance and superiority over the Iranian skies. This is a moment that all Americans, Republican, Democrat, and everyone else should be proud of and united around. We have the best, most professional, and lethal military in the history of the world. God bless America. God bless our troops.
Right there. Okay, Vinny.
Well, first, I just, because the Democrats, I remember when it first happened. What day did it get shot down? Was it Friday?
I think it's Friday.
I think it was Friday, right, Rob? I'm pretty sure. But do you remember the left was losing their mind? And people, you have to understand, I get it. It's in a war, and we all have our opinions, left, right, whatever, down the middle. I don't care. None of them, because people are like, oh, we lost a plane. It's 25 million, 30 million, whatever the price is top. Did you hear one peep when Obama was sending $1.7 billion in planes that they had to gut out the seats just to send Iran this money? Or when Joe Biden removed all the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan, and 13 of our service members died, and how much money did they leave behind on did you remember that video that we saw of all the weapons, all the machinery?
83 billion is a number. I don't know what
something
the number
insane.
was. Okay,
it was big. They left basically 2 full battalions of full equipment.
Yeah, and then apparently when we were fighting them, they were finding on the dead bodies. It was United States military weaponry that the Afghanis were holding, and some Iraqis as well. But anyway, from the mission,
only like $86 billion worth left over there.
Air Force Colonel. So the first
86 billion was left
in a safe spot. The other guy was alone.
Let's go, Brandon.
For 2 days. I don't think people understand. 2 days, you don't have food, you don't have water, you just have your uniform, and you have apparently the helmet and everything is tracking. They know exactly where you are, Tom. They know everything. He had a sidearm. IRGC is coming after you. The militias, local bounty hunter, citizens are trying to come out there because they know how much the IRGC. I'm talking about the people that are loyal to the IRGC. And then Pat, he's hiding in a mountain ridge, 7,000 feet up. He finally gets to hide. The CIA runs a fake operation. They're giving Iran bad intel. So Iran's going somewhere the opposite way. And then all of a sudden, SEAL Team 6 shows up with a JSOC, which is a Joint Special Operations Command package. That's drones, gunships, fast movers starting line up. Pat, they start bombing the convoy that's going the wrong way. They grab him at night, mission, that's how we roll, stabilize him, and they get him out. And I get it. It's a war, but you have to understand this is what America is about. Everybody was like, they're going to leave him. He's going to be a prisoner of war. He's going to be get tortured. America does not leave anybody behind. And I think that's a message for everybody else watching. You hit one of our freaking guys. You hit one of our birds. We don't care what the outcome. We're going to go in there. We're going to grab him. We're going to take his butt out of there. Period. Top.
I think that this is a testimony of how we value life versus how the rest of the world values life. And our guys get
Thank you.
I'm going to mispronounce it. I think it's called SEER training. Survival of SEER. That says, hey, step 1, survive. Step 2,
let's get to 1,800. Why not? 1,800.
Resist. And
1,800 subscribers. Why not?
To be rescued because we're coming for you because we value. And so one man's life is worth the risk, but this was phenomenal to me. This was like, look how much better it's got since Jimmy Carter. Maduro, they expected, and I've said this before, we can't say who, but Department of War, I sat in on a meeting that Pat was invited to. Thank you for that. And I'll tell you what happened. They said they thought they were going to lose 10 guys extracting Maduro. And they had one pilot that had gotten shot and survived.
Yep.
And so when you think about, we're willing to pay the cost to go get one man. And we put the training. That is the testimony, I think, to the training and what the U.S. Armed Forces is all about and the value of life. This is not just, you're just sending our boys off to death. No. That's not the way this country does it. We know war is dangerous. We know we're going to lose. But look at the recent missions where they haven't lost anybody. And this is amazing. And they have the whole thing programmed. At the end of the runway, I guess there was sand or mud that was deeper than anticipated, and the front landing gear of the C-130 gouged in the mud at the end of the landing. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, crap, we can't take this car home. And so they had plan B, extracted all of them, nobody left behind. And they said, yeah, now go hit. And then we hit our own plane. So we're not going to let you go take radios and all the things out of this. And I just thought it was just amazing to the training. You said it well, Vinny, and
Can you imagine? Can you imagine this, Adam? I'm gonna come to your last here in a minute, but can you imagine? You sent 200 people to save 2 lives.
Yeah,
200 to save 2 lives.
It's America.
I'm at my Army unit, September of '97. I've told this story before. They tell us there's a movie coming out here very soon that is about your unit. You guys got to get in there watching, and we watched Saving Private Ryan. They went to save one guy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the pride America has to go save one person? One person, okay, to do something like this. And again, Sears School, I remember Sears School was one of the schools
Good morning,
when I was
Sosa.
getting ready to re-enlist and go to the 5th group, 18 Delta, this is what I asked for everything. I said, I want to go to DLI because I speak a lot of languages. I want to go to Sears School. I want to go to Airborne. I want to go to 5th group. And then I want you to send me to Vicenza, Italy. There was a military unit. I wanted to go there. Last minute, I decided to get into business, and the rest is history. But my orders were all of these jobs that I asked for. And this is not an easy program to go through, Tom. This is not an easy program. But part
Good
of this
morning,
program,
Bruce.
if I'm not mistaken, they
Good
teach
morning.
you also in case if you get caught as POW and how to handle that. It's a very, very, like a survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Like, what do you do if you're a prisoner of war? They trained you to what to do when they're asking you questions, all this stuff. It's one of the toughest trainings to go through. We have such a great military. This is part of it where one of my kids comes up to me and says, Dad, I want to go to the military. I'm like, hey.
Chat, thank you guys for coming back to me. I had lost connection earlier. I don't know what's going on. Probably too much data I'm using. Going live every 4 days a week, I guess. Don't know, but I'm glad you're here with me. Let's continue. Good morning. Good morning.
You remember this conversation that we were at dinner. I said, we got to go to dinner. You got to talk to Vinny about it. She was asking, Dad, what if we go, what if I said, Vinny, what do you want to tell him? He wants to go in the military. So Vinny's Air Force, I'm Army. And it's like, look, it's not like the guy needs to go for money. He's going because he loves America so much. Like he wants to say, this is what I want to do. So we're taking him to a military unit for him to make a decision whether he wants to do this or not as a, the only thing for me is he wants to do it as a career. As a
Thank
kid,
you,
as a
thank you
father,
guys.
want your
All
kids
right,
to
all
be
right.
closer to you. But look, if he's got that
Let's
kind
get
of
to
a pride,
2,000
Well, you know what?
subs
I
or
hope people
1,800,
understand and realize,
1,800 or
because I already know
2,000 subs
those
today.
people like,
Why not?
Send
Thank you,
your
thank
own
you.
kids. Yeah. Guess what? I was there for the conversation, and when he brought it up, there wasn't 1 second when you said, hell no. You said, if that's what you want to do, that's what you're going to do. And it was that, because you nailed it. None of them ever have to do anything. If that was the case, he literally said, I want to go, and I want to do this for the United States. That kid loves this freaking country.
America. Adam.
Well, this was an Easter miracle. And the pilot that was found, allegedly the 3 words that he said is God is good, which basically sort of preempted when Trump basically said, praise Allah. This was more important than we're even making it. And I'll tell you why. What if he was actually caught? What would that scene look like? What would this regime do to this hostage? We've said this before. This is a terrorist organization that's basically holding not only the Middle East hostage, the entire world hostage, if they had a nuclear weapon. They started off their reign in 1979 by taking how many hostages? 500 hostages, I want to say?
66 for 444 days.
Oh, okay, it was only 66?
66 for 444 days, of which
444 days is what I'm thinking.
13 were kids, 13 were women that they released, and then 1 was ill. So it ended up being 52 that stayed for the 444 days.
The 4,444 days was the days. I'm thinking about the people, but dozens and dozens of people for over a year held hostage at this regime. Do you know what this war would look like right now if this pilot and the 2 pilots were actually caught? Do you know what they would do parading this person around? Do you know what they would say to the no boots on the ground crew? What they would say, I told you. So thank God, thank Allah that these people were found. They said it was the first time in 20 years we've had a rescue mission.
No, at this
mission
level.
like this.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, even that long. Unbelievable.
Basically the same amount of time as these guys came into power.
And by the way, by the same country, by the same regime,
really,
by the same people.
Got it.
So 1980 was Khomeini. Now it's the new Islamic Revolutionary Guard post Khomeiни's son. So it's not like the level of hate and animosity hasn't changed. The only different thing that's different, Adam, is the president. That back then it was Carter, today it's Trump.
Right.
The only difference.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was watching a video this weekend about it showed clips.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you for that, man. Thank you.
Okay, Clinton, Bush #2, Obama, Biden, Trump.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brian, Bruce. You guys, man. You guys are a blessing. Appreciate
We
it.
have to take this regime head on. Every single president for the last 40 years has been saying this. Trump is the only president with the courage and the balls to actually pull this off. Thank God they found this guy, because it'd be a lot worse of a scenario optics-wise if he was actually caught.
It is. And by the way, again, this part about life that's very hard to, because most of us in life are going to make mistakes, and most of us don't learn about it, learn from it. You're like, it's a couple of I'm just going to. No, like the other day we had a meeting, Tom. You remember? It's me, you, I think it's RJ and Paul. Okay, and we're sitting down, and something happened we're not happy about. Okay, and it's like, well, what do we do now? The guy said this and da-da-da-da-da. I said, look, here's where I'm at. What could we have done differently? One guy says, I don't think anything. I said, that's never the case. What could we have done differently? And we came up with two things, if you remember that.
And one we already knew about, we felt we missed.
That's right, we missed. And we're like, okay, that's our mistake. I don't care what the guy did. What can we do? Think about this, Vinny. 1980, you have 66 hostages. 52 you're trying to get out. Carter's the president. Mm-hmm. They come up with this project called Operation Eagle Claw. Rob, if you want to pull it up. Okay? Yep. So they combine Delta, SEAL, Ranger, Air Force. Let's go get these 52 hostages that are in Iran, held by Islamic Revolutionary Guard, Khomeini at the time. Let's go get them. They go out on the way there. I think it's 8 helicopters, one C-130. Of the 8 helicopters, one of them has hydraulic issues. He comes back. The other one, the pilot's getting, he's getting confused. He's kind of not feeling well, so he comes back. So now we're left with 6 helicopters, right? Of the 6 helicopters that we're left with, one of the helicopters starting to have major hydraulic issues, heating up like it's almost on fire. It's not, but it's super hot. He decides to get up and flies right, because it's so dusty, it's desert. They're not used to this. I'm, oh my God, how are we going to handle this? He flies right into the C-130.
Oh, damn.
5 people get killed. I think 3 on the helicopter, 5 on the C-130, or the other way around, but it's 8 total that get killed. The pilot of the helicopter makes it. I think his name is Schaefer, if I'm not mistaken. He makes it. Till today, he believes all those 8 people died. He takes the blame till today. He has severe burns. These guys get out of the helicopter, and guess what ends up happening? It's a failed mission, publicly. It was 130, 150 people that were deployed to this. For 52 people, this time around, if we don't learn from those mistakes, the military has been preparing for this for decades. So the credit goes to our military servicemen of how they. Can you imagine you get a call? By the way, you know how many guys that are service guys are like, man, I wish I would have gotten this job. I wanted to go back. I wanted to be able to do something like this. Can you imagine what kind of an opportunity? There's guys that truly wanted this job to be deployed with. Guys that are hardcore gung-ho. But major shout out to our military leaders who used a massive, embarrassing crisis. Some say this could have been the reason why Jimmy Carter didn't get reelected, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, because the moment Reagan won it, immediately Khomeini dropped the 52 prisoners. He gave them back. Immediately, 444 days that we read about. So it was so embarrassing, but the military sat down and said, when the next time this happens, we're going to do it right. And this time around, they brought the CIA in. And why did they bring the CIA in? Just to throw the enemy off. And then was like, wait a minute. Oh, my God. Boom, it's gone. Boom, we're out of here. And when I talked to the president on Saturday, I said, Mr. President, what's happening with the two? What are we going to, says Patrick, 10 to 12 hours. We'll make, obviously I can't say anything, but it's like 10 to 12 hours. Everyone's going to hear about what we did. You'll hear about it in about 10 to 12 hours. He says this. In about 10 to 12 hours, the world's going to find out how we got both of them back. Can you imagine this guy? Can you imagine? So anyways, that's that. Listen, whatever you do, if you walk into the airport, you see these military servicemen, we have to tip our hat and say, hey, thank you for your service. Anybody that's wearing the uniform or wore the uniform, major salute to you, especially the 200 people that went out there to save these 2 lives, of one of them being a colonel. At Valuetainment, we are aggressively growing. This thing started off with just me and Mario and a camera, to 9 employees when we were in Boca Raton, to 30 employees when we were at Dixie, to 60 employees when it was Dixie and our federal highway property, to now 164, 165 employees, and growing aggressively, and we are out there looking for hires. So before you see this video, I want to tell you exactly what is one thing we're for sure looking for: a full stack dev engineer, 7 years experience in end-to-end solution architecture and design for scalable systems. Number 2, track record in mentoring and developing other senior engineers in architecture, 10 years in experience in coding in all major languages, all of them, comprehensive understanding of AI coding and best practices. On-site, South Florida, we are paying reload, strong business acumen. If you know somebody like that, we're hiring. Rob, if you want to play the clip, the opportunities are massive right now for the people that are inside. They're seeing what's going on here. We just put up an incredible event. We're working on a couple SaaS products that are growing exponentially that no one knows about. But Rob, go ahead and play the clip of what happens here at Valuetainment headquarters. Many times when people think about Valuetainment, all they think about is a podcast, but it's a lot more than that. It's 9 companies working together on an 11-acre campus. If I was to give you a virtual tour here, you'll see the HR department hiring, talent acquisition. We have full stack developers that are working on Connect and hire metrics. We have a full-fledged events team, cigar lounge with members only. Regardless of what it is, working at Value.
Did you ever think you would make
of that life? You know what I'm saying, Vinny?
Yeah.
Like it's thug life.
Like he's there.
I sometimes wonder if he listens to Tupac when he wakes up. Can you imagine low key if the president is a Tupac guy?
And you just walk in and
says, all I need in a Zyperson is me and Melania. Like it's just, imagine like he's a hardcore DMX, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, like hardcore rap guy before he makes his decisions, right? I mean, so here's what he tweeted, and then we'll talk about this as well. He called me right after this. We had a 10-minute conversation with the kids at the, what do you call it?
Safari?
At the Safari, and all of a sudden the president calls. We had a full-on 10-minute conversation about a bunch of different things. I'm asking myself, what does your schedule look like?
Hold on, what? Yeah.
What are you doing, right?
Yeah.
Well, what are you up to? And Jennifer's there. Brooklyn's screaming in the background. Santa's in my lap. We're getting past giraffes, and the president's on the phone with me.
What a timing.
What a timing, right?
Are you saying that he called you this weekend?
Saturday, he and I.
Well, I saw you were doing giraffes, lions, and
That's
the
when he called.
lady yelled.
Oh my! That's exactly when he
President
called.
Trump called you. You're trying to say while you're at Lion Country Safari.
Yes.
And the giraffe was even like, is that the president?
On Easter or the day before Easter.
The day before Easter.
And what was the premise?
I mean, we talk about a lot of different things.
We definitely talk about you, Adam.
Great conversation.
Great.
We talk about Iran. We talk about a lot of different things. We talk about,
Pat, please. Let's just not. Yeah, the president called me this weekend. I know what's happened before.
We may get into it.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
but he's not going to just.
We're here now.
Yeah. No, I understand that. But
like, I just think,
listen,
for the sizzle, people want to know.
I will tell you.
Straight up call you.
Well, then let him tell the people.
You have to also think about it. This is a very pressured type of a weekend.
Yeah.
For you to come out on Easter, Tuesday will be a power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped in one. In Iran, there'll be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastard, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. And the best part of this tweet is, praise be to Allah.
Yeah, true.
Can you imagine, like, this guy, so I'm telling you, he's about that life.
But you know why? Can we be honest? He's so unpredictable. Be honest. Did you grok it and say, is this real? I had to do it 3 times and be like, did he really post that?
Yes.
Praise be to Allah. It's not like Mike.
But by the way, he posted it after he spoke with PVD. I don't know why, if there's a correlation.
Anyway, so let me just say this to you. Let me go through some of these stories on what we have. ICE arrests relatives of Salain, Iranian General Soleimani living in the U.S. after Rubio revokes their green cards. This is the niece and the daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
The niece and her daughter.
Yes. So we'll talk about that. White House sits out deranged liberal conspiracy theory claiming that Trump is in a hospital. He was definitely not in the hospital. Trump unveils $1.5 trillion of defense surge, deep domestic cuts. What's on the budget chopping blocks? We talk about that. Trump's request $152 million to reopen Alcatraz. Can you imagine? Like, everything's going on. Let's reopen Alcatraz. And you take the worst of the worst and you put him on Alcatraz. Maybe he wants Heat 2 to come out. I don't know, like a sequel. Because with somebody else, it was a great movie. Not Heat 2. What was it called? Not The Rock?
The Rock.
The Rock.
Right, USA the best, man.
John Connery
Nicolas Cage
and Ed Harris. Ed Harris, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, great.
Very, very good.
The Rock. Yeah.
Very, very good movie. Very good.
Action, Sean Connery.
March job report came in. Looks very good. We talked about the Iran escalation, the rescue. Oh my God, the rescue that they did. Unreal. Surprise, shocking, confusion, unpredictable. Credit to the military that we have in the U.S. It's just absolutely something else. For them to have the job that they have and do what they did. And then we'll talk about some of the other stuff from the past, which was a failure that caused them to get good at this. We'll talk about that as well. U.S.-Iran war tax begins to hit American business consumers. Tom's got some thoughts on that. Gas prices, oil is right now still at 110. Tom, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's at 110 as of right now.
Yep, pre-open 110, hanging too high.
That's right. So Amazon tax on 3.5% surcharge. You buy a $100 product, on top of tax, on top of shipping and handling, they're adding an additional $3.5, 3.5% for fuel surcharge. Amazon just announced that. Supreme Court, one of the Supreme Court justices experienced a medical incident that was undisclosed, but apparently some people are saying he's not doing too well. I think we just checked his age this morning. He's 75, 76, if I'm not mistaken. California's got a hot mess. They're spending $17 million with a PR firm to make California look better. You can spend $1 billion. I don't care how much money you hire. The greatest PR firms in the world cannot save California right now with the mess that they have, because there's a guy there that wants to be a president so bad. And we'll see. We'll see what angle they're going to take. New York, Vinny, homelessness, Mamdani, gun violence comments after killing of 7-month-old baby spark outrage. Absolute disgrace. And what else we got here? Epstein victims demand meeting with King Charles in Washington. Elon Musk asked SpaceX IPO to buy Grok as well on the subscription side. And Oracle faces backlash over H-1B visa, and a LeBron James backlash after revealing the city he would never play in and telling an NBA team to move. And that city we'll definitely talk about. I think the coach of that city said, why don't we build him at Ritz-Carlton and ask him to move here? And that coach is a championship winning coach and a past before. Trump says Kurds kept the guns that were meant for Iran protesters. What do you mean you kept the guns? They kept the guns, allegedly. And we'll address that as well. With that being said, gang, one thing, if you have heard us, we haven't talked about anything with merch, and we're not going to till next Monday, but we have an announcement next Monday for you. 100% of all the thousands of orders that were there have been completed. If you're watching this, I'm glad it got to you. 100% of them are all officially out there, but we'll have some massive announcements to make to you next week. What I do want to share with you is the following. At Valuetainment, we are aggressively growing. This thing started off with just me and Mario and a camera, to 9 employees when we were in Boca Raton, to 30 employees when we were at Dixie, to 60 employees when it was Dixie and our federal highway property, to now 164, 165 employees, and growing aggressively. And we are out there looking for hires. So before you see this video, I want to tell you exactly what is one thing we're for sure looking for. A full stack dev engineer, 7 years experience in end-to-end solution architecture and design for scalable systems. Number 2, track record in mentoring and developing other senior engineers in architecture. 10 years in experience in coding in all major languages, all of them. Comprehensive understanding of AI coding and best practices. On-site, South Florida, we are paying reload. Strong business acumen. If you know somebody like that, we're hiring. Rob, if you want to play the clip, the opportunities are massive right now for the people that are inside. They're seeing what's going on here. We just put up an incredible event. We're working on a couple SaaS products that are growing exponentially that no one knows about. But Rob, go ahead and play the clip of what happens here at Valuetainment headquarters. Many times when people think about Valuetainment, all they think about is a podcast, but it's a lot more than that. It's 9 companies working together on an 11-acre campus. If I was to give you a virtual tour here,
which we did not confirm because we did not want to jeopardize our second
miracle what these guys did. You got to respect the hell out of the military that we have, okay? You got to respect the hell out of what they do. We're watching the news. You see the 2 pilots, there's no way we're going to get them. It's over. It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to go back to what happened back in the days when under Khomeini, when he took over after the Shah, 66 Americans were held, at the embassy, and then 52 of them were held hostage, and we had to do an Operation Eagle Claw, and it was a hot mess. The C-130 crashed into a helicopter. 8 people died. It was nasty. So it's like, wait a minute. By the way, that's the last time we did an operation like this before. Last time. And obviously the military, you got to give a lot of credit because Delta Force was involved back then. Nobody knew about Delta Force in the early 80s. It was Navy. It was everybody involved. Rangers were involved. Air Force was involved with the pilot of the C-130. It's like, are we going to do this again? Not for 53, not for 66, but just for 2. And this time the CIA is going to be involved? Yes. You're kidding me. Not at all. And so while we're all watching the news, Rob, if you want to play one of the clips, I don't know which one you have. We were told, this is it. It's done. Nothing can happen. And all of a sudden, these are some of the news reports that we get. And Vinny, I'm going to come to you first. Go ahead, Rob.
So we've just gotten a Truth Social from President Trump on all of this. It's a long one, so bear with me here. The president wrote, "We got him, my fellow Americans. Over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel, and who I am thrilled to let you know is now safe and sound. This brave warrior was behind enemy lines in the treacherous mountains of Iran, being hunted down by our enemies, who were getting closer and closer by the hour, but was never truly alone because his commander-in-chief, Secretary of War, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and fellow warfighters were monitoring his location 24 hours a day and diligently planning his rescue. At my direction, the U.S. military sent dozens of aircraft armed with the most lethal weapons in the world to retrieve him. He sustained injuries, but he will be just fine. The miraculous search and rescue operation comes in addition to a successful rescue of another brave pilot yesterday, which we did not confirm, because we did not want to jeopardize our second rescue operation. This is the first time in military memory that 2 U.S. pilots have been rescued separately deep in enemy territory.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
The fact that we were able to pull off both these operations
name is
without a
Deunta.
single
Appreciate
American
that.
killed or
Deunta
even
is the
wounded
name.
just proves once again that we have achieved overwhelming air dominance and superiority over the Iranian skies. This is a moment that all Americans, Republican, Democrat, and everyone else should be proud of and united around. We have the best, most professional, and lethal military in the history of the world. God bless America. God bless our troops.
Okay, Vinny.
Well, first, I just, because the Democrats, I remember when it first happened. What day did it get shot down? Was it Friday?
I think it's Friday.
I think it was Friday, right, Rob? I'm pretty sure. But do you remember the left was losing their mind? And people, you have to understand, I get it. It's in a war, and we all have our opinions, left, right, whatever, down the middle. I don't care.
If you look at the notes, I have it in the notes, all the way at the top. You should find it. So I'm going to text it to you anyway, so you have it. So what is Iran saying? Iran is saying, just go through the notes. I texted to you as well. Iran is saying, really, you guys want to play this hard? We're going to go after all your, infrastructures that you have. So now what this means, we don't know. Both sides are threatening. Which threat you're going to trust? Watch us. Zoom in a little bit here. The guy behind this history photograph does a phenomenal job. The Islamic regime released a video threatening to bomb OpenAI's $30 billion data center in Abu Dhabi. Watch this, Vinny. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob. They're playing the games as well. Of course. They're playing the games as well. Landmark 1 gigawatt AI data center projected, announced in project that's in 2025. 200 megawatt phase opening in 2026. Partnership with top tier American enterprises. Look at this. Apollo, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs. That wasn't big.
Oh, amazing.
They screwed up David Solomon. So the AI guy that you guys have, he sucks actually. He's not that good a competitor.
He was a tall, bald white guy.
Yeah, that's not David Solomon. So, Tom, you see this message from the president on Easter. Then you see Iran not holding back. They're like, and then you see the report comes in saying Iran is willing to have the conversation about the nukes. That, hey, we're willing to not do anything with it. I think, what is the number? 440 at 60% enrichment. Is it 440? What is the number?
Yeah, it's like 400 kilogram at.
I think it's 440 kilogram at 60% enrichment is that could be 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, enough to develop 11 nuclear bombs, is what they said they have.
Yeah, that's 1,000 pounds because a kilogram is 2.2.
2.2. So, Vinny, they said They said this is what we have.
They're admitting it.
460 at 60% that can develop 11 nuclear bombs is what they're saying. So now there's rumors of maybe they want to negotiate, maybe they don't want to negotiate. What do you think's really going on here? Vinny, I'm going to come to you right after Tom.
Well, first of all, I separate the statements they make from the true intent of the regime. The true intent of the regime has shown time and time again, and Vinny, we've been watching this together, that they're full of crap. And they have, they don't negotiate as a standard actor. A standard actor usually wants to protect something. These people are like North Korea. They don't care what happens to their people. With whatever's left, they will rule and they will do it their way. And so they lose people. They don't care. They killed 3,000 of their own people and just hand waved over it. But there does appear to be a crack in the door, what they're talking about here on this. Because remember, if they tell us, here, take the 1,000 pounds and then we're going to consent to this monitoring and stuff, that would surprise me, because their ultimate goal, Pat, this current regime, the ultimate death, that's all they want. And they are trying to attack their neighbors to get the neighbors to convince Trump to stop. And so this is consistent with their threats and activity, Pat, that we've been seeing for the past 2 weeks. Attack the friends and get the friends to be whispering to Trump, please make this guy stop. Just stop on your side. Make this guy stop. And then that's their strategy. So I see it as sort of unchanged in their strategy, but I see a little bit of light. I see a crack in the door.
Vinny.
And by the way, because at the end of the day, as much as you love it or you hate it, wherever you stand on this thing, we are at war. Full stop. Okay? Propaganda is going to be played on either side. I mean, they're putting out those videos. Rob, can you play the video that I just sent you? I sent Rob a video right now of apparently they sent out, who's the new guy, Pat? The new Khomeini? Khomeini part 3.
The grandson.
They put this video out, and apparently it's him, Rob, walking into like a nuclear facility. Did you guys see this one?
Of course.
Rob, go ahead, Robbie. He's not wearing glow sticks normally because he party like that. He should have glow sticks. But that's him, the mononuclear reactor.
So what point are you making?
So what I'm saying
what I'm saying is, I'm asking him. What are you saying, Khamenei?
Yeah, exactly what you think that they're saying. So now, listen, war is ugly. We understand. What drives me crazy is that we're at a point right now where I feel like people are literally, Americans, literally are hoping that we lose. I've seen it, I've heard it, and it's like, love it or hate it. Again, and by the way, there's never going to be a war that we ever fight, that every single American is like, yay, go. I remember when I was in after 9/11 and George Bush and all the lies that we had about that. Yeah, everybody, bro, the majority of us were like, yay, let's go. And then we found out that it was a lie and things shift. But in this situation, Pat, with these guys, with what they're doing, like, you can hear what the people are saying, but their leaders are basically saying, hey, listen, we will freaking nuke everybody. We will kill everybody. This is how the war is going. So Trump, by the way, who do you believe more? The IRGC or do you believe Donald Trump? Tom. I believe Donald.
I believe Trump. If the IRGC is speaking, if they told me what time is it, I'd audit it.
Yeah. And then one thing, Pat, the one thing that I saw, because apparently Trump spoke with Trey Yingst. He's the chief foreign correspondent for Fox News. Rob has this clip, which I'm saying about, by the way, that video that they showed, the earlier one that you showed, they're showing all the other people that they're willing to strike in UAE and all that. Like,
morning, everybody. Good morning. What's up, Tech? Good morning.
Or do you think that they are doing their part? All the UAE people, all the people over there our assets are at all these bases. Are they helping at all?
They don't have a choice.
They have.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you know how it's like, well, I'm on Neighbor Watch.
We are growing.
In the neighborhood, you best make sure that
let's get to 1,800. Why not? 1,800 subscribers. Why not? Let's get to it.
Militarily for them, or would it be monetary?
1,800 subscribers today. Why not?
Because I remember you said it. No. Pay the 200. Give us some money. Something.
If you're behind closed doors, what leverage do these Gulf states actually have? Actually, ask yourself, what leverage do the Gulf states have? What? What leverage do the Gulf states have?
Leverage to get involved?
To U.S.
Good morning, Finn. Good morning.
What do we need?
Good morning.
They got one thing, man. Oil.
Oh, do we we need their oil?
No, not really. We have our reserve.
Their oil for our allies.
Let's get 26 subscribers. 26 subscribers. Why not? 26. Name is Deunta.
The president's
Let's
going
get
to
to
say
1800.
we have enough oil to give it to anybody because we got Venezuela and we got, again, sequencing wise, if they did it the other way around, Iran first, Venezuela next, issue. He does Venezuela first, Iran next, which means what? If you need oil, we're in control of Venezuela right now. So strategically, it was a brilliant move to do Venezuela first. It's like, don't worry, we got enough oil to give you, right? Now, that's going to be the argument. But what leverage does Gulf states have, Tom?
They don't. You be the Sultan of Oman, okay?
Okay, hold on.
I'm Trump. How you doing this morning?
Very good.
I saw that the missiles hit the desalination plant and the hotel. Everybody okay? Everything good?
Not good, but okay.
Okay. So what's going on?
Nothing.
No, Vinny, honestly, what do you say to me at that point?
Yeah, what are you doing to help?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I need your help.
What do you want?
Are you guys trying to do an accent? Just lean into the accent if you can do it or not.
No, you see, what I'm going to say, I said, Mr. President, what do you need us to do? We need this guy to stop, but he's been doing this forever. He's fearlessly doing it. Now he's attacking us. Says, we got to take it. And you hear what they've been saying. They've been saying, and the Saudis have been saying, you got to finish the job here. That's what they've been saying for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, but the fine.
Thank God nobody was killed at the hotel. That's very, very good. Is your water okay? Good. And they said, Mr. President, we got to finish the job. That's what they've been saying to him.
Yeah.
That's so the Gulf states, not only do they have no choice, but they've been looking toward economic future. What have they been doing for 10 years in Saudi Arabia? Building. They built an amusement park. They've attracted 3 F1 races. They have Live Golf. They have all these things. They had the World Cup over there. You see, they're desperately trying to connect more to the West. Mm-hmm. That can't stop. So you're going to lean back, cross your arms over your chest, and say,
better not.
Well, good luck with Iran. Let me know when it's over, Mr. Trump.
Yeah, no.
No, they're going to say, hey.
Didn't Biden leave about $86 billion in Afghanistan when they was leaving? I believe it was $86 billion that he left in Afghanistan, Joe Biden did. That was terrible. All that money. And they're going to give Ukraine all that money and equipment.
You got to finish the job. That's what the Gulf states have been saying. They're saying, how can I help in some way?
Got you. And I sent, and the clip that I was talking about, Pat, I think you saw it. Trey Yingst is the chief foreign correspondent for Fox News. He said the president sent guns to the Iranian protesters earlier this year. And I'm assuming it was when the protests started. And remember the Kurds that we were talking about? The Kurds were getting armed and they were going to go and fight. Look at what the president told Trey. Go ahead.
Now, the president also provided new details on what happened earlier this year as the Iranian regime took to the streets and slaughtered what the president tells me is 45,000 civilians in their own country. After that took place, President Trump told me the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters. He tells me we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them to the Kurds, and the president says he thinks the Kurds kept them. He went on to say, we sent guns to the protesters, a lot of them. And so a number of headlines here from my conversation with President Trump, all of this taking place more than a month into Operation Epic Fury and in the aftermath of that successful U.S. operation over.
So that's, I mean, Pat, that's pretty, Adam, that's pretty, like, I remember we were talking about, should we send guns? Because we're thinking about options.
That's what's up, JC. Congratulations, man.
To him, we sent guns to the Kurds.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
To fight for themselves. And he's saying that the Kurds never gave them the guns. And they're supposed to be allied with them. How do you feel about that, Pat?
How do you maneuver through that? Because you need them to pass the weapons down.
Yes.
And so do the Kurds really want to be against the president? I don't understand that move right there. That's a very dumb move. So now you don't pass it down to the people because what? You don't trust anybody? Did they promise that they were going to and they didn't?
That's a great
What
question.
a double dumb move if that was the case. You need the do you not want the IRGC to fall? Like, what is the next request you're going to make that he's going to trust you now? So now the problem is, who does the president have an outlet to give the weapons to if he chooses to do so that gets to the people? Who
now you know who?
Now who do you do?
Nobody.
That's the point.
So
So
nobody.
I don't understand the logic behind, and I don't know all about the details of the Kurd stuff, but I don't understand the logic behind it. Adam, your thoughts?
Well, listen, there's one key word that summarizes everything that's going on, and that's this concept of hell. So what did Trump say exactly? Open up the damn Strait of Hormuz, or all hell will break loose, right? Using the F word. Glory be to God. There was multiple quotes like that. Do you happen to have the quote of what the leaders of Iran had to say? They basically said, open the gates of hell. If you mess with us, we're going to open the gates of hell. This whole concept of hell. Why am I saying this word hell? Because we think that this is a military war or a strategic war to end their nuclear ambitions. We think this is possibly an economic war. Now they're talking about, obviously we know sanctions and banking and taking out their oil, Strait of Hormuz. But at the end of the day, here's what's really going on. Whether you believe it or not, whether you want to say it or not, this is a religious war. This is at its core a deeply, deeply ideological war. This is a class of civilization. So if you don't think that this is history repeating itself, go look up the Crusades. And of course, Israel and Jerusalem are caught in the middle of this because this all started this go-round on October 7th. So here's what I know about the Islamic Republic of Iran. They are willing to die for this cause, and this is why I respect the enemy. They will die. They will go to their death. They will become martyrs. They will practice jihad. They will go to see Allah for this, and I respect that. At the end of the day, we just talked about how we are going to save our boys' lives. The pilot that went down. There's a famous phrase in the Israeli and Palestinian conflict that said, and it's this. They said, there will be peace when you value life more than you value death. And this is who these people are. That's why you constantly hear they're a death cult. My final point is this, and I'll keep harping on this. This is the number one most theocratic regime in the world. What does that mean? There's zero separation between church and state or mosque and state in Iran. In America, we say, well, we get the First Amendment, freedom to join, freedom to do this, freedom to speech. We have all our freedoms. In Iran, everything, every decision, every economic decision, every social decision, everything that is made comes from Allah. How do you defeat that? How do you defeat an ideology? I don't know, but here's what I know. They think they're the good guys. We know that we're the good guys. All their neighbors know that they're the bad guys, but they think that they're the good guys. So how do you defeat these?
But the leaders, the people that are in charge in Iran, think about it. They can play this game, Adam, because you know what? We know that this is civilian casualties that we're talking about. You blow up all these things that we're talking about, the bridges, the infrastructure, the oil, all that desalinization, whatever. It's the people are going to suffer. The guys, you think the guys on top are going to suffer? These are military people. They have bunker. They're chilling. Those guys are good. They know that they're using the civilian population as leverage, and that's what I don't care about. And the worst thing is, Pat, we can't hear. And I'm being genuinely inquisitive. Have we heard anything from the people? I hear people in LA, like Iranians, shut up. We need to be, free and all that stuff. We need to be liberated. But boy, I haven't heard anything from civilians at all in Iran. Have you?
You bring up a very good point.
Thank you.
And I'll ask this question. Who cares about the people of Iran more? The United States and the Western world, or the Islamic Republic
course it's
of Iran?
us. They don't give a damn.
But
they just care about
but
them.
There's nuance there.
Yeah.
Pat, what percentage of the people in Iran are done with this regime, sick of this regime? 80%?
The study done by Gammon in Netherlands is 81% who are done with the IRGC. There's a video of a young lady, Rob, if you want to play this. Agree or disagree? This is a video that's been going viral. Did you verify if this was a real video, Rob? Can you go down to see if Grok asked the question? While Adam gives his response, just verify to see if this video is a real video or not. Go ahead, Adam. Continue.
No, I mean, ultimately, what I would assume is that 20% of the country.
All right, Patriots. Now, remember, I'm coming out of this hotel because my wife and I are traveling, so I know this is not my typical setup. But I wanted to bring you this because you know how you hear people all the time saying, oh, Trump is in Iran because of Israel, because of Bibi, because they got him like a puppet on a string. That's what these Democrats want to spread around. And luckily for us, it's not working on MAGA. But what about those independents? What about those Republicans that are kind of on the edge because they don't get the information like you and I share with each other? They don't know what's really going on. They watch CBS and CNN and MSDNC and all of those bull crap.
Right. Here you guys go. Like and subscribe. This is 1980. This is 1980. Before he became president. Like and subscribe. Check it out. Like and subscribe.
Propagandized networks. But in this video, I'm going to let you hear directly from the horse's mouth. I went back into the time machine and I plugged out a couple of clips of President Trump in the 80s. And I want you to hear it what he says about Iran. And the next time you hear somebody trying to use that bullcrap propaganda that's being spread by the Iranians and by Hamas amongst the American people just to stir up controversy and dissent against President Trump, you play this video clip for them. It's showing them, hey, listen, that's all fake. This man has been on the same mission since the 80s. And just like every other president and every other powerful politician on the left or the right, who all said, oh, we need to go in there and take them out. They've been after us for 47 years. Wait till you see what's in this video. And spoiler alert, I even have a rhino, not from 5 years ago, a rhino present day that has to give it up to him. And wait till you hear the endorsement that he's gotten. One of the best endorsements that you can get from a Gen Zer. But let's get off into this first clip. And I'm going to play it in widescreen because I want you to fully grasp what he's saying. But check this out.
That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror.
Here we go. Somebody call me a bootlicker. Somebody saying bootlicker. Get off the plantation.
Got a lot of nerves to be in the face of American people saying for numerous administrations, Iran is a problem. They have to be dealt with. Iran is a problem. They have to be dealt with.
I strongly believe that our national security interest now depends upon preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
What I can say to you, Iran will never get a nuclear weapon on my watch.
And then this man deals with him, and then all of a sudden you're complaining about him now. Right. It doesn't really make sense.
The double standards against Trump.
With troops, etc., and brought up why is that? I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea? You're going to have a war by being weak. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it. And get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
Nearly 40 years ago, Trump saying, I'd be harsh on Iran. They've been beating us psychologically, making us look like a bunch of fools. One bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Karg Island. I'd go in and take it. Iran can't even beat Iraq. If they push the United States around, it'd be good for the world to take them on.
So Iran can be taken. I would never take the military card off the table. And it's possible that it'll have to be used because Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. Nobody will be pushing us around. I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. We will totally dismantle Iran's global terror network. Iran has already, since the deal is in place, test-fired ballistic missiles 3 times. And someday, maybe hit even the United States. And we're not going to let that happen. We're not letting it happen. Today, I am announcing several major steps we are taking to confront the Iranian regime's hostile actions. The longer we ignore a threat, the worse that threat becomes. The Iranian regime's aggression in the region.
Let's get to 1,800. 20 subscribers. Let's get to 1,800. Let's get there. Let's get it. Let's get it.
It must end, and it must end now. And I am ready and prepared to take whatever action is necessary.
I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. And Biden, if he were a real president, should say, if anybody shoots a former president who's now the leading candidate, we will bomb that country into oblivion.
If I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself.
13 subscribers. Let's get 13 subscribers. 13. Why not? 13.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
Would you consider bombing the country again?
Without question, absolutely. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Sure that Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
No, I don't see a war. You see, the war this is not a Vietnam situation. That would have been the easiest victory we would have ever won.
I mean, for them, it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
Hey, real quick, y'all, if you're enjoying this video and you see value in the content, would you please hit that like button or the hype button or leave a comment? YouTube loves to see engagement, and that really helps out, but only if you like the video. So if you're enjoying it so far, hit that like button or the hype button and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about what you're seeing. about our great president. Other than that, I'll get back to the video clips. How about that? How about for all those that like to say, oh, it's Bibi, oh, it's Israel? No, this is a man who understands strategy, who understands what bullies are after dealing with the mob in the 70s in New York, taking on the United States government from 2023 or 2022 up until even now, dealing with the left and the deranged Democrats and the lawfare from the radical activist judges. But look, his stance never changed. As a matter of fact, he's the one person that we can point to in politics who is the most consistent, who does say what he feels, who doesn't leave you wondering where he's at and what he's thinking, unless the media ask him a question about what strategy he's going to take against an enemy. And he laughs at them and says, why would I tell you that? Why would I put it out there?
Everybody's welcome to the chat. Everybody's welcome to the chat. Name is Deunta. If you don't like Trump, it's cool. You still welcome to the chat.
And telegraph it for the enemy to know exactly what I'm doing.
Everybody's
That's
welcome.
the only time he ever holds his cards. And even then, does he hold them? He says, well, we might blow him into oblivion or we might not. We'll see. And he leaves it out there. And they call that the madman theory, where a lot of these other countries, these leaders, they refer to him as a madman because, you know, he doesn't act all diplomatic and say the right things and be fake. Like,
those new to the chat, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not here to push it on you at all. I'm just sharing stuff that I like and going from there. Other than that, you know, everybody's welcome. Let's learn from each other. Let's agree or disagree. Let's have some fun. Good morning.
Gavin Newsom would. So he calls balls and strikes. And in politics, that's one thing you don't ever hardly see is somebody calling it balls and strikes. Now let's check out this rhino who they asked about what's going on over there. And as you know, he and Mitch McConnell don't get along. As a matter of fact, Mitch McConnell's underlings and Rand Paul and Thomas Massey have been doing everything they can to destroy MAGA and to cripple the Trump administration, all while maintaining their position. See, they want America to do okay. They just want to cripple him. But check out what Mitch McConnell had to say.
What are your thoughts on the current situation in Iran and how Congress has not approved that as a war?
Well, regardless of whether congressional approval is needed, and you can argue that it isn't needed at all, let's look at the war itself. I support what the president's doing. They've been at war with us for 47 years.
Well, I voted for Trump, and everything he's doing, I'm cool with it. I trust it. No regret to my vote. None of it.
They killed our people, maimed our people, attacked our allies.
You know you're in the right when the rhinos come out and publicly say, and he even gave it up and said, you know, if he even needed congressional approval at all. See, Democrats like to play on the ignorance of their voters and say, oh, you needed it in Congress. But they said nothing when Obama bombed Syria and Libya. Matter of fact, Obama dropped over 26,000 bombs without congressional approval.
Hello.
But they didn't say anything. That was absolutely okay. Or when Clinton, with the whole Black Hawk Down. So again, we can go through this all we want, but we know how the Democrats are. When they're in power, they say all of these things. When Trump does it, oh, it's the worst thing in the world, even though they know it's the right thing. That's why they're going so crazy. Because
right, Trump was a Democrat like everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like Obama, Clinton's. Trump was a Democrat. He just flipped and became a Republican. And all of a sudden now he's a racist. That's stupid.
he's doing everything that they know needed to be done, but they hated being done because what are they going to campaign on? Just like what they did at the airports. He put a kibosh to that. Paid them, and they found a way to fund the Department of Homeland Security without the Democrats at all. They are losing their mind, which means they literally hurt the American people for no reason because ICE and CBP were already funded through 2029. But again, ignorant Democrat voters don't know that. Or what about when they say, well, the Republicans control the presidency, the Senate, and the House? Well, only an ignorant person, and remember, ignorant only means lacking knowledge or information. Only an ignorant person doesn't realize that in order for something to pass into law, you need 60 votes in the Senate. Well, there's only 53 Republican senators, and we got 3 or 4 rhinos there that aren't going to vote the party line regardless. So we go from 53 to about 49, which means we need Democrat votes, and then we got the vice president there.
Come on with this Epstein stuff, man. If Trump was in the Epstein file, why is this man a president twice? If you want to destroy this man, don't try to kill him 3 times, damn near, or try to bankrupt him, damn near, or put him in jail, period. Stop with this Epstein shit, man. It's a waste. The man naming that a million times, and a million times naming that there's no evidence that he did anything wrong. And Biden had it for 4 years if he wanted to destroy Trump. Stop it, man.
For the tiebreaker, if it's at 50. The Democrats know that, but they know their voters don't. But the good thing about Gen Z is that they're waking up. See, I'm in Gen X. The Gen Zers are waking up. As a matter
Played
of fact,
out, Brian.
Mr. Big Balls, you've heard of him. He was the team leader on Doge. He was also the one who got attacked while walking the street in D.C. that really pushed President
Trump the president for the next 2 years. The next president next 2 years. So you want for the next 2, you keep on saying the Epstein files? Because obviously, if it's not gonna come out, it has to come out. If it is, it is. If it hasn't, it hasn't.
Is at the lowest it's been in 120 years in our country. The media never talks about that. The Trump administration is getting win after win after win after win. But you got the mainstream media fighting against it. And one thing I will say, Republicans need a better PR team. They need somebody to do better at getting these victories out to the American people. Because when I show videos of people are like, man, I didn't even know that happened. I didn't even know that was going on. And I blame that on Republicans. But listen to what Mr. Big Balls had to say. Check this out. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available, because this year, Medicare plans are
prescription drug companies. He's willing to go levy tariffs on other countries. He's willing to go after the fraudsters. He's willing to put in.
Y'all should have said that to Biden 4 years ago. Years ago when Biden had it. Y'all said that same energy.
Actually go find
Poopy Joe, Sleepy Joe, when he had it. Kamala, she had it.
Really been fighting super hard for the American people, and he's been getting attacked nonstop for it, because a lot of these institutional machines, the propaganda machines that we have for the mainstream media, they are funded by a lot of this. A lot of this is very good for them, and the people who run these mainstream media companies, in no world would you want your kids to learn from them, or would you want to be like them. They're pretty scary. In many cases, they're like complete doomers. And so the institutional, MSM.
What up, Janelle? What up, bro? Good morning. Good morning.
The administration so hard.
The fraudsters complain the loudest, and the people also, a lot of people are just against innovation and against seeing positive outcomes. A lot of people are just jealous. They get angry when they start seeing somebody do better than them. They have these weird initiatives where they want to see other people succeed more than others. And at the end of the day, it just needs to come down to, do we want to see America succeed, or do we want to see a foreign nation succeed, or do we want to see somebody else be better than us?
The beautiful thing about
they said everything we were talking about, the mainstream media, the propaganda.
Again, good morning, Chad. Good morning.
They're possessed by demons.
Good morning, good morning.
Who wants to see their home country?
Say Nick Shirley, a dumbass. No, that's a great American hero there, man. Nick Shirley for the win.
All for a cause that you know is
Nick Shirley for the win. That man exposed all the fraud in Minnesota and Cali. Now the news media got to step it up like real journalists, like they're supposed to be.
It's pointless and meaningless, and it's all to protect foreign interests, not American homegrown people. But yet you have folks running to the polls to reelect these folks. And have you noticed something? I'm sure some of y'all do. The people that complain the most under Democrat rule, under like the Biden presidency, I was getting crushed by the job markets that would be
somebody say what fraud? Really?
Those are the main ones that run and vote. And spoiler alert again,
Minnesota,
the jobs
Cali,
report just came out. And I want to end the video on showing you the jobs report and what CNN was forced to tell us about the job that President Trump was doing. It far exceeded what they expected, and rightfully so. So, hey, listen, if you've hung out and you watched this video to this point, I greatly do appreciate you. And I thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed already, subscribe. Most importantly,
subscribe.
And that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Y'all check out this next clip. Over and out.
I mean, the expectation was what, 60,000 jobs, and it's 178? Wow.
Yeah, look, the job market bounced back in a big way in March, and that is good news, really blowing away expectations. Yeah, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Yeah, okay. So, I've said it before, and, the theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we look at the numbers, I've heard some people say, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this: the MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base.
And so I guess that begs the question to what's happening with inside the GOP and if there are any splits there, because with those kind of numbers,
Now they've made a very significant step. We'll see what happens. Closer you can imagine.
Your final deadline is Tuesday at 8 p.m. Your final deadline. If Iran does not meet your demands, Mr. President, are you willing to continue the war?
We'll have to watch.
It's
an easy question. The answer is yes, but you'll have to watch.
What do you think is the latest proposal?
They made a proposal, and it's a significant proposal. It's a significant step. It's not good enough, but it's a very significant step. They have made, they're negotiating now, and they've made a very significant step. We'll see what happens. Well, that's what they need. They have a long way to go. The UK has a long way to go. We don't want another Neville Chamberlain. Do we agree? We don't want Neville Chamberlain.
How is the airman rescue doing?
He's doing really well. They both do well. It was two. And we held off the one because if they would have known we had him, so we held off the one. They are both recovering very well. They were both injured, and they're doing well. What else? Well, you know what? When you do thousands and thousands of flights and you have one plane shut down and not, fortunately, the two pilots got out, they got a little bit lucky. And you know what? In war, you need a little bit of luck also. They got a little bit lucky. That's all they got.
What's stopping you from ending the war?
Good end. So today is a very special day. It's a day where we celebrate Jesus. It's a day where we celebrate religion. And it's an honor to be the President of the United States. Our country is doing so well, like it has never done before. You'll see that very shortly. And things that we've done have not been done before. We've broken every record on the stock market. We've broken every record in our military. And what about the rescue that took place yesterday? What about that? It's something that you rarely see. They were giving me a briefing about that. And they said normally when you're in very hostile territory, and I don't think it gets much more hostile than Iran, they're capable fighters. They're very tough people. And there are others like that. You don't mind when the enemy is weak, but that enemy is strong. Not so strong like they were about a month ago. I can tell you, in fact, right now, they're not too strong at all, in my opinion, but we're soon going to find out, aren't we? But when a thing like that happens, where a pilot shot down, in most instances, you're really not able to go in because you'll go in with 200 people and lots of jet fighters and helicopters, and you really don't have a chance. They get shot down. You lose 200. in order to pick up one. It's a horrible thing, but it's very rare that you can do it. And what we did yesterday is we picked up not one, we picked up two. We kept the first one quiet, and we were able to keep it quiet for about a day, which made it a lot better. But those two pilots were incredible, brave, and we thank them. And we're going to be having a news conference today at 1 o'clock at the Oval Office, and we look forward to it. But I just want to say we have a great military. We have the greatest military, the most powerful military any place in the world. You saw what happened with Venezuela. And
Black people, they don't like you. They have never liked you.
What?
They're trying to tell you they don't like you. I said this before. They tried. Black people, they don't like you. They have never liked you.
What?
They're trying to tell you they don't like you. I said this before. They tried to tell you when they enslaved you, they didn't like you. They tried to tell you in Reconstruction when they wouldn't, when they sent the KKK for you to vote, that they didn't like you. They fought a civil war to keep you enslaved. They didn't like you then. They didn't like you after Reconstruction when they erected black codes so you could live as a second-class citizen. They didn't like you then. They didn't like you in 1973 when they encouraged you to abort your babies so that you could stymie your population, so that you could lower your political power. They don't like you. They have never liked you. The Democrat came on television last week and said the people that are most important to them are the illegal immigrants. And I support them walking their talk. Let's have reparations for the illegal immigrants. Let the Democrats embrace the people that they said they like the most, and let them finally come out and tell Black people what they have been trying to tell you for 250 years, which is they don't like you.
Hey, man. I don't know. We could probably end the segment right there. That was a mic drop. Oh, my goodness.
it's an honor. I built it in my first term, and I didn't know I was going to be using it this much in my second term, but it's my honor, and they're the greatest people on earth. Our warriors are the greatest fighters on earth, and they very much appreciate you and love you, and that's why they do it. So this is all about today. I must tell you, I came out and I expected we were going to be talking about farmers, and we love our farmers.
Democrat. How are you a Black conservative? How are you a Black Democrat? You mean the same party you say has been helping you for decades, but your communities look worse, not better? You mean the same party that started the Ku Klux Klan and somehow convinced you they're your savior? You mean the same political machine where LBJ, after signing the Civil Rights Act, said they're going to keep these niggas voting for generations? 62 years later, and you're still predictable. They dangled a Black male president in front of you that did nothing for Black people and everything for gay people, and a Black female president that advertised to you with white people tacos and Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage. And you never stopped to question that? They told you they were fighting poverty, but really they went and knocked on the doors of Black families and told them that if they got rid of the man in the household, they could have this money. And what we now know as the welfare system.
I already read about the DC crash. There's no switch. Maybe the ideology switch, but Democrats still the Democrat Party.
Policies that incentivize broken homes, dependency instead of independence, they made it so you systematically rely on them, and now over half of the Black households are dependent on the government. And they tell you crime is someone else's fault, while your neighborhoods keep getting worse in the very cities that they run. And now they've got you fighting for illegal immigrants that take your jobs and have been killing your people, and they still give you nothing. Are you a Black conservative? How are you a Black
conservative? We were going to talk about so many different products, but you know what they want to talk about? Sir, this is about eggs. Eggs. Because we have the egg farmers of the entire country here, and they are unbelievable. And if you remember, when I first got elected, my first news conference with the fake news, a lot of fake news here today, but I had a news conference, and the first question, what are you going to do about eggs, sir? I said, what's wrong with eggs? I just got there. It's my second day in office. I had a news conference, and they were screaming at me, what am I going to do about eggs? Then I said, well, it's like, tell me what's wrong with eggs. The price was so high. It was 4 times higher than it was a year before.
Strategy.
I said, well, that sounds like a problem. Let me think about it. And Brooke Rollins, our great Secretary of Agriculture, she got involved. We all got involved. They didn't want me, as you know, just last year, it's hard to believe, they didn't want me to order eggs for the Easter egg roll, the Easter egg hunt that we have here every year. They wanted me to use plastic. I said, I'm not using plastic. We'll get it solved. And within a short period of time, eggs came down. They came down 40%, 50%. And by the time we got there, we had so many eggs, we didn't know what to do with them. And today we have more than 40,000 eggs supplied by all of the great egg farmers that are with us. So eggs is a big thing, and it was a big thing to our great First Lady, who's here someplace. Let's see. I think this is our First Lady. What do you think of our First Lady? She's a movie star. I don't know. Do we call her First Lady or a movie star? She has the biggest movie. Can you believe this? And she deserves it. Would you like to say a couple of words to your friends?
Happy Easter Monday. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful day. We are celebrating a very special Easter egg roll this year because it's 250th birthday of this beautiful nation. Enjoy it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Thank you, honey. And she worked very hard with her staff and the staff of the White House on really just making it nice. This is the nicest I've ever seen it. So this is my fifth, and I will say that it gets better every time, right? It gets better every time. You notice the fencing is all brand new. I said, we could have bought used fencing and saved a lot of money. They said, this is for Easter, and this is for our egg farmers, and we're going to get new fencing. Everything's new and everything's beautiful, and the White House never looked better, and our country never looked better. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been a special period of time. 1 year ago, a little bit more, our country was dead. We had a dead country. We had an administration that didn't know what the hell they were doing. Today we have
Check this video. This is my latest video.
Respected by everybody, and that's the way we're going to keep it. That's the way we're going to keep it. So again, I want to thank all of the associations and the egg farmers and all of the people that are here. We think we could have 50,000 people coming all day long. It's open, and they expect between 30 and 50,000 people, so that's great. And most importantly, I want to just say Happy Easter and God bless America. We have the greatest country on earth. God bless you all. You are very, very special people. Thank you, everybody. Have a good time.
I remember being a teacher in an inner city school, and I'd have one or two mothers 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes every day, coming in 30 minutes late with their bonnets and their pajamas and their footies, bringing their kid in, stopping my class 30 minutes late every day, and then getting copping attitude with me when I would say, you need to bring your child on time. We have a situation where in the Black community, unfortunately, there is a lack of father and parental father strong figures in the home. And so you're seeing a lot of behavior because of that outcrop of that. And instead of like blaming Whitey or blaming slavery or whatever the things that are going to be blamed on this panel, I'm 100% sure. Instead of blaming Whitey, why not take a look at the behavior that's going on with some members of the Black community and have a come to Jesus with them about it? I think instead of being defensive about
you literally just insulted Yolanda and said this is how she walk around in the world.
She's the exception.
I'm not worried about her.
She's the exception. Instead of being offended by saying that this might be a problem with certain Black people, why not have a conversation in the Black community?
Boy. So we got to talk about a very, very, very fascinating conversation that I can't believe that I am just stumbling across, featuring a panel of lovely women here, right? A diverse panel, 3 Black women, 1 white woman, and what could probably be a Latino woman, or maybe she's white. I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, truth bombs are going to be dropped here on these liberal Black women, and they're going to get upset because it's going to be said by people who are not Black, okay? And I want to talk about it because this, again, is a fascinating conversation, and I just want to be clear, right? I just want to use a disclaimer. When I refer to some of the shenanigans of Black folks, I'm mostly always talking about Black liberals, right? When I talk about Black women, I'm talking about Black liberal women. I don't have a problem with conservative Black women, right? I have no problem with conservative Black women at all. In fact, I love conservative women in general, right? Which would include conservative Black women. Okay? So I'm just saying, if you are a conservative woman, right? If you are conservative, my commentary does not apply to you, right? For the most part, when discussing these types of issues, whether I'm talking about white liberals losing their minds, which is what I talked about earlier today, right? Or if I'm talking about ghetto behavior, I'm almost always referring to liberals, okay? And liberal behavior, because that is the big problem with this country, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
A new face of villainy in America now, Black women. This comes as we're being bombarded by more and more videos on social media of them in street fights and brawls on reality shows. In the last week alone, Black women have been blamed for the chaos at Daytona Beach's spring break. Law enforcement even calling one out by name, demanding $1 million in restitution for the damages in that city.
Here is number 1 offender, Elia Brooks. She got a certified letter basically saying that has come to our attention that you're advertising, promoting, or sponsoring, or organizing, or arranging via social media a Daytona Beach takeover.
So you know what's hilarious about this is that I reacted to that video of that sheriff, okay? And he said over and over and over again, this is not about race. This is not about race. This is about the fact that these characters are being agents of chaos. And it just so happened that all those characters were Black, right? So, I mean, he's not singling them out because they're Black. He's singling them out because they're committing crimes, right? They're agents of chaos. Now, I'm not sure how you twist that into anti-Blackness, right? But it sounds like that's kind of the direction that this is headed in. This is not about anti-Blackness. This is about anti-ghetto behavior. Anti-criminal behavior, which for whatever reason these people mix
dark
with
woke, really.
Okay, so it should tell you everything you need to know about what a lot
I have no regrets on my end.
see or characterize as Blackness, right, or Black behavior.
Some Black men blaming Black women for the new dress code at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Embarrassed us so bad for the Houston Rodeo that this have to be talked about. And we've been telling y'all this. We've been telling y'all that Black American women, FBA women, have their ass out everywhere you go.
And then there's this guy who describes Black women this way on social media.
What's your least favorite race to date?
I want to say black girls. Like, black girls have great personalities, but they're like apishly aggressive, you know? Apishly, like, manly sometimes, you know, the way they act. You feel me?
No, I don't.
Some say no matter how educated or successful, some black women have been constantly vilified, like politicians Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris. Hence, the question remains, are black women being vilified in America now?
Liberal women are being vilified. But again, if you want to talk about black women specifically, a vast majority of the individuals are liberal black women. Again, we don't have a behavior problem with conservatives in this country, right? I mean, seriously, we do not have a behavioral issue with conservative people in general, with man, woman, right? It doesn't matter. Kids, we don't have a behavior issue with conservatives. It's only with liberals, right? That's why a vast majority of stuff happens in liberal cities, okay? It's very that simple.
And of course, we have a panel of guests here. Women, important women. Let's well, yeah, you black too. So let's get to it, Yolanda. Is this over-exaggeration? Is this a fair assessment? Unfair? Your thoughts about what we're seeing on social media bombarding us?
So first of all, it's not new. Black women are always the boogeyman, like always. We're angry, we're aggressive. These are all things they say about us. And so I don't know why people are paying attention. It was not true then, it's not true now. And if I am angry, considering black women are the number one target of everybody, then I'm justifiably angry. If I am angry, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to own it. So again, this is not new, it's old. But you know what?
January 6th, oh my goodness, man. You guys still live in the past. It's Epstein files on January 6th. All those been debunked already.
I've been black all my life. I'm a die black. And the one thing I know black women will do is we will survive and we will thrive. And y'all can just keep hating. Because for whatever reason, your name always on our lips. And so we must be doing something because you want our lips, you want our backsides, you want it all. You want our color, you roasting yourself, you're looking old before your time because you want everything black. You want to culturally appropriate.
Well, I mean, how do you explain this blonde hair? How do you explain this blonde hair? Right? Is this natural? Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I guess it could be, but to me, this looks dyed, right? You dyed your hair blonde, but yeah, you run around talking about how everybody wants to be like.
Just gave this man comment. Ilhan Omar just got brought. Scott. Almost everybody blamed MAGA for the Capitol incident. But why haven't they showed you this video?
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch. All of y'all. Call for backup. Get some help down here.
Almost everybody blamed MAGA for the Capitol incident. But why haven't they showed you this video?
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch. All of y'all. Call for backup. Get some help down here.
Almost
like you, right? They want to be like black women, but you dyed your hair the color of a white woman, right? Like this woman's hair, okay? You see this? You see this? Her hair color is about the same as hers, okay? I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. But, yeah, let's continue.
Your thoughts about this?
So here's my thoughts about this. I think the reason we're seeing more and more of these incidents is because people have cell phones, people have social medias. I don't think it's necessarily something that's new. I think it's been a problem that's gotten more and more aggressive. And this is about individual behavior. This is about people who do not take responsibility for the way they act, look, behave. I can remember being a teacher in an inner city school, and I'd have one or two mothers 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes every day, coming in 30 minutes late with their bonnets and their pajamas and their footies, bringing their kid in, stopping my class 30 minutes late every day, and then getting copping attitude with me when I would say, you need to bring your child on time. We have a situation where in the Black community, unfortunately, there is a lack of father and parental father strong figures in the home. And so you're seeing a lot of behavior because of that outcrop of that. And instead of like blaming Whitey or blaming slavery or whatever the things that are going to be blamed on this panel, I'm 100% sure. Instead of blaming Whitey, why not take a look at the behavior that's going on with some members of the Black community and have a come to Jesus with them about it?
Bonke, your thoughts about this?
Well, I've been a teacher at both inner city and suburban schools. In the inner city, we were never scared of school shootings, right? So when we're talking about different groups being vilified, if we're looking at the history of America and who has done the most violent crimes, it's your people. In regards to the Black women are viewed, I'm going to continue speaking, but I'm going to make sure that you're not intimidated right now, are you? I want to make sure you're comfortable because as a Black woman, that's what we have to do in order to have a platform, right? In order to be able to speak uninterrupted, you have to make sure that you make somebody else feel comfortable. So outside of what we're seeing on social media, we know that 600,000 Black women have been laid off, have been pushed out of the workforce, when we continue to be the most educated group of people in this country. And if we're looking at this panel, that's also evident.
All right, Carmen, let's hear what your thoughts about.
Man, I'm gonna say this, right? Okay. I personally think that a lot of this, oh, woe is me, oh, they're coming after us, oh, they're attacking us, is self-inflicted, right? In the sense that when you have a group of people, again, liberal Black women here, who engage in certain behaviors, and it is everywhere, and people see the same pattern over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna feel like you're being attacked based off your race and your gender or your sex, but you're not. You're being attacked because of your behavior, and people are saying the same behavior over and over and over again from a certain demographic of the individual.
And right now,
all Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
our immigration policies are shambles, plain and simple. And right now, our borders are amazingly porous to people who shouldn't be here, such as terrorists, drug smugglers, etc.
If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship. And we wonder, in this country, why we have an illegal immigration problem.
Unlawful immigration is not acceptable.
We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws.
Oh, amazing.
All Americans, not only...
Once again, I'm not here to cause any division. I'm not here to cause any division. It's common sense and bring out the hypocrisy that's going on right now. What Trump is doing is the same thing what they talked about. He was a Democrat. These are Democrats in the past. And what he's doing right now, they talked about it then, but he's doing it now. I'm going to play it again because this is crazy. It's not about dividing nobody. It's just about showing the hypocrisy.
In the states most... All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
Our immigration policies are shambles, plain and simple. And right now, our borders are amazing.
Mr. Jim Point, what is this? Voter ID, Jim Crow 2.0, Jim Crow 2.0, really? That's crazy.
Amazingly porous to people who shouldn't be here, such as terrorists, drug
I'm going to play it again, Alt-Delete.
If you break our laws by entering this country without permission and give birth to a child, we reward that child with U.S. citizenship. And we wonder, in this country, why we have an illegal immigration problem.
Unlawful immigration is not acceptable.
We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws.
That's all I'm saying, man. Democrats say one thing back then, all of a sudden now it changes. How? Makes no sense, y'all.
To make people start to
I forgot, because Trump.
develop stereotypes, right? That's going to make people pick up on these patterns and adjust their behavior.
No, I'm saying that Trump is doing the same thing what they talking about. Everything they just said in the video, Trump is doing it now.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with you, and happy Easter. We had a great Easter. This is one of our better Easters, I think, in a lot of different ways. I can say militarily, it's been one of the best. So, good afternoon. We have quite a bit to discuss. We'll go into pretty good detail. And we have the people that are most involved. We'll give you exactitude. And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat searches. I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that one or two. And in this case, we did two, and might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent. We got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
Yes.
Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Those our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close. The most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green 2 helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that when you look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer, highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space, and this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher, and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapon system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes that carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand, so we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane, and then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes, and they got pretty well bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up. And we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used, and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle, and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location. And probably the toughest area of Iran where we'd be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so quick and got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got 15-minute intervals. One load out, one load out, one load out. It happened. And we were watching and we said, that's amazing. In many ways, I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had than the fact that, we would have had a runway or decent soil, but it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single one of them and the talent. The genius is not even talent, it's genius. It's the whole ball game, every one of them. If you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes, and he lived behind iron doors. There were steel doors, broke them down so quickly, and within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group, incredible. We have incredibly talented people. And if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came in.
You know what's funny? Y'all came on about Jesus about the border. I believe Jesus would have came across the border the right way, not the wrong way. So you can't compare Jesus with this border crisis. They came the wrong way. They ain't waited in line like everybody else did in the past, or period. Big difference.
God was watching us.
Jesus came the right way.
It was the Easter, we were in the Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. It's amazing. Because when you look at the machinery, they took damage. It tells you, first thing I said is, these are unbelievable machines, how they flew back and not even much of a problem. But these two extraordinary rescues, because it was two, and as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about. Because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award. So when you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long. And I think everybody would understand that they put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him, because everyone now knows that we're going in. Over the past 37 days, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the first manned aircraft down by the enemy in this entire operation with thousands and thousands of flights. He got lucky. It was a lucky hit. You know, eventually you get lucky. But we got lucky too because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we said, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, wet, crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive. And we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off. And they came in like magic, boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. I'm so impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting for a plane. But they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Wow. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land. Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand. So I'm so proud of the people that I have standing up here with me and many others that work. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically. Jared Kushner. But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing. And I think I'm going to introduce the head of the CIA, and he is a man who, he's central casting, okay? If we cast a movie, he's going to play the head of the CIA. He's one of the few. John Ratcliffe, he did a phenomenal job that night. He did something that I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you want, you can. I'm not sure you're supposed to. I'm not going to talk about it. But the CIA was very responsible for finding this little speck. It's like they used an expression on one of the shows. The general was talking about, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding this pilot. And the CIA was unbelievable. And you may, if you can, you'll talk, it might be classified, in which case I'd have to put him in jail if he talks about it. And I don't want to put him in jail. He doesn't deserve that. So, John, do you want to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a privilege to be here with you today to share what we can about this exceptional mission and to recognize the ingenuity and bravery of those who executed it, as well as the leadership and resolve of the president who ordered it. One thing that has been clear to me in this role is that the flawless military operations that the Department of War is known for are hostage to flawless intelligence. We saw that in the skies over Iran in Operation Midnight Hammer last summer. We witnessed it in Venezuela during Operation Absolute Resolve. We've seen it against the cartels in the Western Hemisphere, and we're seeing it every day in Operation Epic Fury, including this mission to rescue an aviator buried deep behind enemy lines. Because it is the unique tradition of the U.S. Armed Forces that we leave no man or woman behind, this was a no-fail mission. That was the spirit in which the president put us to work, and we were determined not to let him down or our airmen down. As an agency, the CIA possesses unique capabilities that only the president can deploy. Some of these capabilities fall under covert action authorities. And because covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert. This was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected. For that reason, in addition to the human and technical assets deployed by the president to find our airmen, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. That confirmation was relayed by Secretary Hegseth to the president, and the operation quickly moved to the execution phase. Following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night, our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this audacious rescue mission. When the president asked me to lead the CIA, he made it clear: get back to basics, no politics, no agendas, tackle the hardest problems, and execute the toughest missions. This president is about results, and now that's what his CIA is about too. The professionals at the agency and at the Department of War deserve immense credit for their flawless execution during this daring mission. Their skill, creativity, and courage are unmatched on the battlefield wherever they step. But none of that matters, and all of that is wasted without a president with the political courage to put them into action. Mr. President, I've had the privilege of seeing you act with political courage in the best interest of the United States up close on a daily basis, and I'm grateful that this successful mission has given the American people a window into that as well. The Secretary and Chairman will tell you that our service members' confidence is boosted by a Commander-in-Chief who has their back the same way they have yours. And I know that the confidence of CIA's officers is boosted by the knowledge that their work is informing a president who's not afraid to make the hardest decisions when the stakes are highest. And to the American people, your confidence should be boosted by knowing that the security of the nation is in the hands of a president who's willing to take on problems that have confounded both sides of the political aisle for nearly half a century. It is an honor to serve under a leader who just proved that you can believe him when he says, no matter what, we will leave no one behind. We will come for you. Thank you.
Well, John, thank you for the collaboration of the CIA as well. Incredible and ongoing partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, and especially the brave warriors in our armed forces, over this Easter weekend, the United States military has once again proved why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. In two extraordinary combat search and rescue operations deep inside enemy territory in Iran, our warriors executed missions of breathtaking skill, courage, and precision. When our warriors are unleashed, as this president has allowed them to be, they are unstoppable. When American airmen were down behind enemy lines, our forces and our president did not hesitate. Special operators supported by elite air crews and intelligence professionals moved swiftly and decisively into treacherous mountain terrain under the constant threat of Iranian forces closing in. Ultimately, it was an impotent Iranian threat. And today, as the CIA director mentioned, Iran's military, and we know this, is embarrassed and humiliated, and they should be. Now, these are not routine operations. They were high-risk, high-stakes missions conducted in the heart of enemy territory. This was not just barely into Iran. This was deep into Iran, involving coordinated strikes to suppress threats, deception tactics to protect our teams, and full synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are still asking themselves right now, how did the Americans do this? One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder. His first message was simple, and it was powerful. He sent a message: God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good. Despite incoming fire and unforgiving conditions, our troops brought every American home. No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck. It's the result of unmatched training, superior technology, an unbreakable warrior ethos, and sheer American grit. Our special operators, pilots, and support crews performed with near perfection under fire, and they were lethal. Just ask any Iranian soldier who dared attempt to get anywhere near that pilot before or during that mission. Death from above. Our troops turned a potential tragedy into a resounding demonstration.
Well, since it's Black History Month, which is nothing but American history, I figured I'd let Larry Elder school those of you that are so romantically in love with the Democratic Party. Play the clip.
That Democrats founded the Klan. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats voted against the 13th Amendment that freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment that gave slaves citizenship, the 15th Amendment that, at least on paper, gave slaves the right to vote. Democrats voted against all of that stuff. I didn't know when I was in high school that more Republicans as a percentage of the party voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than did Democrats. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Everett Dirksen, a Republican in Illinois, got an award for the NAACP for how he helped to shepherd the Civil Rights Bill through Congress. I didn't know that Al Gore's father participated in what was then the longest filibuster to prevent the bill from ever becoming on the floor. I also bought into that notion that, okay, Democrats used to be racist, but then Republicans switched places with them in the 60s. I bought into that until I found out that of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the House, of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the Senate, only 2 switched to the Republican Party, one of whom was Strom Thurmond. George Wallace, who stood in front of the school door as a Democratic governor saying segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, he died a Democrat. Robert Byrd, who was a Kliegel, that means a recruiter for the Klan, he died a Democrat at 100 years old in the Senate. Most of these guys never switch parties. It is a lie. The reason the South became more and more Republican is because the Democratic Party became more and more left-wing, became anti-Vietnam, anti-war, pro-abortion, and the South became increasingly uncomfortable with their allegiance to the Democratic Party, especially since Jim Crow had fallen. If Jim Crow has fallen, why are we in bed with these Democrats? What's the point?
Exactly.
And so the South became more and more Republican for a reason that had nothing to do with racism. But that was the line that was fed by so many people, and so many blacks to this day believe that.
You know, it always baffles me every time this Black History Month comes around, which is nothing more than American history, that the left, the liberal, the Black KK collective groupthink, the Eeyores of color, they always say we should uplift the Black voice. But for some reason, I never see them uplift conservative Black voices. And these are the same people that run around hollering diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, my question to them is, do you support diversity like you do with race, gender, and sexuality the same way you do when it comes to diversity in thought? That's just a question. Happy Black History Month. Shout out to Larry.
Of American resolve and capability. That's what Excellence in uniform looks like. But make no mistake about it. None of this would have been possible without the courageous leadership and ironclad determination of President Donald J. Trump. From the moment our airmen went down, President Trump made it clear we will leave no one behind. The first mission, the first of 2, was an audacious daylight thunder run right up the middle. It was authorized in less than 2 hours from that pilot going down when we knew where he was. And it was authorized in the middle of the night because anybody that's worked for this man knows he's up in the middle of the night. Authorized immediately, without hesitation, audaciously. The second mission, as soon as we knew where that pilot was, and John was certainly helpful in that, also executed immediately. You know, I looked up at my screen when the final mission was complete inside our SCIF, our secure facility. And we have a running VTC, a running coordination cell. And the top of it read 45 minutes and 45 hours and 56 minutes. For 45 hours and 56 minutes, we held that call open for coordination. From the moment our pilots went down, our mission was unblinking. The call never dropped, the meeting never stopped, the planning never ceased. The president demanded rapid, decisive action. He backed our military with the full weight of his resolve, refusing to let enemy propaganda or tactical setbacks deter us. His leadership ensured that every lethal and non-lethal resource was brought to bear, that our forces had the authorities and the support they needed to succeed. When the president says he has the backs of our warfighters, he means it. And it means a great deal, and it's a big difference on the battlefield. President Trump understands that peace through strength is not a slogan. It is a doctrine that saves American lives. His unwavering commitment to rebuilding our military and restoring the warrior spirit has paid dividends in missions just like this one. Under his command, America projects power with confidence and brings our people home with victory. And that continues today, by the way. Per the president's direction, today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today. And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president does not play around. You can ask Soleimani, you can ask Maduro, you can ask Khomeini. To those heroes who planned and executed these rescues, your nation stands in awe. I stand in awe. The chairman stands in awe. We all stand in awe of your professionalism and bravery. We serve for you. You embody the very best of America. To the rescued airmen and their families, welcome home. Your courage and endurance, the quiet declaration of faith amid the storm, inspires us all. God is good every day. And to our adversaries watching from Tehran, let this be a clear message. The United States military will go anywhere, at any time, to protect our own and complete the mission. We execute with precision. We control the sky. Do you see, we flew for 7 hours in daylight over Iran to get the first pilot. And we flew 7 hours in the middle of the night to get the second. And Iran did nothing about it. We fight with honor, and under President Trump's leadership, we win. So God bless our troops, God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I know before I start, I know many of you want specific details in these briefings. We will share what we can, but I will retain what I must in the event that we have to go do this again sometime. And I cannot stress the importance, as the President said, around operational security. The Secretary and I will do a more detailed briefing tomorrow morning, and we look forward to sharing the details that we can. On Thursday, 2 April at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:40 in the morning, local Iran time, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center, which handles the Central Command area of responsibility, declared an isolated personnel recovery event for U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, which was down in hostile Iranian territory. The pilot and weapons system officer had both safely ejected and were isolated behind enemy lines. Following confirmation of active rescue beacons and on the direction of the Secretary and by order of the President, a rescue operation was launched with the stated purpose of bringing both Americans home safely. As the Secretary said, several hours later on the morning, after positively locating the front seater, call sign Dude 44 Alpha, and aware of an aggressive ongoing search by the enemy, a U.S. Central Command plan was approved by the Secretary and the President. Shortly thereafter, a U.S. Air Force Combat Search and Rescue Task Force, comprised of A-10 Warthogs in their Sandy role, and I'll describe what that is in a minute, HC-130 Combat King 2s, HH-60 Jolly Green 2 helicopters, and Air Force Special Warfare Airmen, a package comprised of combat rescue officers and pararescueman operators, audaciously penetrated enemy territory in broad daylight to find, fix, and recover Dude 44 Alpha from behind enemy lines. This was an incredibly dangerous mission, an incredibly dangerous undertaking, but a filled promise made to every American warfighter that you will not be left behind. We will always come find you, and we will always bring you home. Over the next hours, the search and rescue task force crossed the beach, entered into Iranian airspace, protected by a fighter strike package, and moved into the objective area, all under fire. En route, as some of you have seen on social media, the helicopters took gas off the C-130s and pressed onward and forward up into the objective area. While this was ongoing and out in front of them, the Sandy flight of A-10s and other remotely piloted aircraft, drones, and other tactical aircraft were violently suppressing and engaging the enemy in a close-in gunfight to keep them away from the front seater and allow the pickup force to get into the objective area. During this engagement, one of the Sandy aircraft, the one primarily responsible for communicating with the downed pilot, was hit by enemy fire. This pilot continued to fight, continued the mission, and then upon exit, flew his aircraft into another country and determined that the airplane was not landable. This was one of our A-10 Sandy aircraft. The pilot then made the decision to eject over friendly territory and was quickly and safely recovered and is doing fine. After picking up Dude 44 Alpha, the HH-60 Jolly Green fight was engaged by every single person in Iran who had a small arms weapon. And one of the aircraft, the trailing aircraft, took several hits. The crew sustained minor injury, and they are going to be fine. A note for those of you that do not know what a Sandy does. Named after the flight call sign that did this very mission in Vietnam, flying A-1 Sky Raiders and A-7 Corsairs, a Sandy has one mission: get to the survivor, bring the rescue force forward, and put themselves between that survivor on the ground and the enemy. They are committed to this. This is what they live for, and this is what they've trained for over many, many years. The A-10 force and the rescue force did a fantastic job rescuing Dude 44 Alpha. He was recovered Friday afternoon. As I said, and the nation needs to know this, this was an incredibly brave and courageous mission, and a testament to the courage, skill, and tenacity of the joint force and our leaders. And especially a daylight option, having the guts to try means so much to so many. Meanwhile, the backseater, as the President and the Secretary have said, had continued to work and survive. Through the hours of daylight, Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater, evaded. Using every means available, the efforts of the United States military, the Central Intelligence Agency, and others were attempting to find and locate with precision Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater. A note on the backseater and the front seater. The single most important contributor to a successful rescue operation is the spirit of attack inside the heart of that downed aviator. Their will to survive, their will to evade, their will to recover is everything. In this case, the backseater's absolute commitment to surviving made much of our efforts possible. On Saturday, 4 April, after establishing positive communications with the backseater, we learned, as the President said, that he was injured and actively evading enemy forces. And thanks to our interagency partners, we were able to get eyes on his location and positively ID him. Throughout this entire time, the enemy force continued to search for 4-4 Bravo, and the joint force continued to strike them over and over and over again. Fighting off marginal weather in Iran and the enemy's search for a second time on Saturday, at the recommendation of the CENTCOM commander and at the approval of the Secretary and the President, we launched a rescue task force to recover Dude 4-4 Bravo. Again, this came to the President and the Secretary for approval, this time with a much larger force package based on the time that the enemy had to prepare to find 4-4 Bravo. Again, this force was protected by A-10 Warthogs using the Sandy call sign. And this force had one single mission: do everything they can to bring an American home. This meant having a plan, being prepared to execute that plan, and more importantly, being prepared for multiple simultaneous contingencies. And because of this force's professionalism, grit, and determination, fight off two enemies at the same time. The enemy searching for 4-4 Bravo and contingent.
I'm right here, Tech. I'm letting y'all do y'all thing in the chat. Like I said, the man Cook, he broke it all down, man. Democrat Party is a party of KKK, corruption, period. They didn't stand for it. We asked for them to stand for us. And they already said they want the illegals to take our votes away, outwork us, and replace our votes. That's crazy. Y'all keep on saying Trump's a pedophile, but yet y'all keep on fighting for the illegals that are pedophiles. Make it make sense. But I'll be back again, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. It's 2 hours, 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We got to do better as people. And my show is not to have anybody divided. Not to be divided, but at least learn from each other and help each other.